Nicole with Guiding Echoes, and in this video we are taking a look at the Fairy Tarot. Now this was created by Doreen and Radleigh Valentine with illustrations by Howard David Johnson, and it is published by Hey Lifestyles. So if those names sound familiar, it is because they also are the creators of the very popular Angel Tarot, which came out just a few years ago. So the Fairy Tarot is meant to be a companion to the Angel Tarot, and the two of them are meant to work together. This is the box that the Fairy Tarot cards come in. As you can see, it's pretty simple, but it's actually very sturdy. So it's a good size cardboard box. And what I like about it is that it is going to keep your cards nice and protected. So to open this box, all you have to do is lift off the top just like so, and as you can see, you have this beautiful interior that's going to hold your cards. So of course you just put the cards in your little booklet back in there, place it on top, and voila, you got a perfect box that's going to protect your cards for a very long time. This is the booklet that comes with your Fairy Tarot cards. Now this was written by Doreen and Radleigh Valentine. It's 186 pages, and when you open up this little book, you'll see that it actually has a pretty nice hardcover. So again, this is going to protect your booklet very nicely. So when we go through the booklet, we're going to find, of course, the table of contents, and we're going to find instructions on how to work with the Fairy Tarot. You're also going to learn a little bit more about the Fairy Tarot cards, what inspired them, and what Doreen and Radleigh's vision was for this deck. So as we go through it, we're going to find some different spreads, so different ways to use the cards, and of course we're going to gain insight into the different cards in the deck. So here, of course, we have the Dreamer, and all of the cards, which you'll see in a moment, have the meaning on the bottom, but of course the booklet goes into more detail, and so on the bottom of each page you're going to see the additional meaning of each card. So that can be very, very helpful in giving you a deeper meaning of what not only the cards mean, but what your spread is saying when you lay out the cards to answer a question. When it comes to the width of the Angel Tarot versus the Fairy Tarot, the cards are really the same. So here's the Fairy Tarot, and you'll see, like, when I put this right on top of the Angel Tarot, there's just a little bit of room left over. You can just see the tiniest bit of a card from the Angel Tarot when I place this on top, and this is perfectly lined up with the sides of the Angel Tarot cards. So it's still the same width, it's the same height, but when you flip the cards over, you can see how the Angel Tarot is a little bit thicker than the Fairy Tarot, which we have right here. And so the size of the cards, the thickness of the cards really does make a difference when you're wanting to shuffle them. So if you're wanting to get an idea of how big these are, if you've never worked with the Angel or the Fairy Tarot, let me go ahead and put this against a typical tarot card. So this is the Rider-Waite deck right here. And so when we put the Rider-Waite card, which is the typical size of a tarot card, you can see the difference in width and in size. And you know, if I put it together like this, you're also going to see a difference in the card stock. So this is a little bit thinner than this is right here. This card is still a little bit thicker. And as you can see, the Fairy Tarot is much wider and just a tad longer than a typical tarot deck is. So here's a look at the actual cards. We're going to take a look at the graphics and illustrations that are on the cards. So this is the back of the card, and isn't it beautiful? So we have this gorgeous fairy right here, and we have all these wonderful lights and sparkles all around her, which really help to give these cards a magical feel to them. Also on the borders, we have this beautiful violet that turns into a blue that turns into the sea foam green, and so I absolutely love the color choice that Hey Lifestyles chose in presenting these cards. I think they have such a beautiful presentation to them. So you're also going to notice that the cards have this beautiful silver edge to them. So as with all silver edged cards or really gold edged cards, you're going to want to take some care in storing them and be mindful of the way that you're shuffling them, because this does have a tendency to wear off and to peel after some time, especially if you're rough with your cards. So let's go ahead and start turning the cards over. Now these are mixed up, and I did that on purpose because I wanted you to be able to get a sense for the major arcana as well as the minor arcana. Now, when it comes to this deck, what Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine did was they renamed the different suits, the 4 suits of the tarot, after different seasons. So instead of the wands, cups, pentacles, and swords, you're going to get winter, fall, spring, and summer. And so the reason for that change was because this deck was created to honor fairies, and it is widely believed that fairies are nature's angels, and so they are the guardian angels of our natural world. And so of course they are going to resonate more with the 4 seasons that we experience on this wonderful planet called Earth. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in each card. We have some beautiful images. The illustrator Howard did such a great job in just embracing the spirit of each tarot card with the illustrations that he created for every single suit and every single card. Now, as I'm going through these, you're already noticing that they have this beautiful finished gloss to them. And that's one of the things that I've come to enjoy about Hey Lifestyles decks, is that they are of very high quality, and they all have this beautiful gloss, which not only makes your cards look pretty, but it protects them too. So if they do get wet or something, obviously these are not waterproof, but what this gloss does is it also protects your cards so that the water doesn't absorb right away. So if you spill something on them and you get to them pretty fast, you should find that the water mostly, or the liquid mostly, repels off of them. Not to say it's not going to stain or leave a mark, it probably will, but it's not going to do as much damage to your cards as unfinished decks would, as an unfinished cardstock would. So this deck is perfect for fairy enthusiasts, obviously, because there are fairies on every single card in this deck. It's also a purely positive deck, so if you are intimidated by some of the scarier images that tarot holds sometimes, then this is going to be a good deck for you, because again, there's none of that in this deck. It's all purely positive messages and images. Also, if you're reading for someone who is a more sensitive spirit, who maybe can't handle a very true tarot reading, who might freak out, or if they get like the typical death card or judgment card, if that ends up being too much for them because they're in a sensitive place, then this is a good deck to use. This deck is just full of positive energy, but the messages are also very gentle and very safe. And so if I had to put one word to this deck, it would be comfort. I find this deck to be very comforting and very compassionate in the way it delivers messages. So this deck could be good for new tarot readers, but I think it's mostly good for people who are very sensitive and who have a hard time being around or working with images that are a little more hostile. So you're not going to find images like that in this deck, and that's, you know, keeping in complete alignment with Doreen Virtue's work. Most of her actually all of her decks are purely positive. And so you'll notice that some of the scenes are actually from Glastonbury, England, and the reason for that is because Doreen and Radleigh felt that that was a good setting for these cards, because they really wanted to enhance the healing energy of these cards. So by combining fairies with an area that's known for its spiritual awareness, for its vortexes, and for its healing power, it just made sense to put the two of them together. Now, to show you how gentle these cards are, I want to invite you to take a journey with me through the major arcana cards in the Fairy Tarot. Now, as we are going through these cards, I'm going to present them right next to the major arcana cards that are in the Rider-Waite Tarot. This way you can see the difference in the images and the energy since the cards are going to be right next to each other. You're also going to notice that some of the names have been changed in order to encompass the healing energy and the gentle, compassionate, kind energy that the Fairy Tarot has to offer. So from the very beginning of our journey through the major arcana, we can see the differences in the deck. So this is the Fairy Tarot, and this is the Rider-Waite Tarot. So the very first card in Rider-Waite is called the Fool, and the very first card in the Fairy Tarot is called the Dreamer. Now, both of these have the same energetic meaning. However, the Dreamer, of course, sounds much better than the Fool, right? Now, keep in mind that the Rider-Waite Tarot was created over 100 years ago, and so a lot of the names in the Rider-Waite Tarot are outdated, or they carry with them a different meaning than what they did back then. So that's one of the reasons a lot of tarot creators in this day and age are changing the names of the tarot cards because, well, quite frankly, the titles have different meanings now. So as you can see, we have a lot of beautiful images here. And the Empress, we still have the Empress. Here we have the Emperor. And the Hierophant has been changed to Unity. And in this card, she has changed the meaning of the actual card. So where the Hierophant really stood for religion and rules and organizations, it could also refer to boredom, being bored with what you do. Here in the Unity card, it says, do the right thing for the right reasons. Compare traditional versus new approaches to see which works for you. A spiritually minded community. So there's an example of a card that has been changed to fit modern day life. Now let's keep moving forward because there are some other things I want you to see. So here we have the Lovers, the Chariot, Justice, and Strength. Okay, so here's one of the things I wanted you to see. In this deck, she did reverse the Strength and the Justice card. So Justice is number 8 in this deck, where usually Strength would be number 8. Now, the reason that she did that is because if you are following the Fool's Journey in regular tarot, it tells this whole story, right? We learn the story of the Fool and his journey. Well, in this deck, what she's wanting to do is provide you with a journey of your soul's evolution. And this is what she calls the self-esteem tarot deck. This is a deck she created to help people win their confidence back. And her vision is that people will be able to use this deck to awaken and fulfill their divine life purpose. So, with that in mind, she changed the order and the name of many of these cards, of most of the cards in the major arcana, so that they fit that flow. So if you are wanting to enhance your self-esteem, if you are wanting to awaken your life's purpose, your divine purpose, then one of the things that you can do is work with the major arcanas and work with them closely in the Fairy Tarot. Take one card a day, look at it every morning, and go in order. So you're going to start from 0, and for 22 days you're going to work your way from the very first card all the way to the very last card. And every day spend time looking at those cards, at that card of the day, and ask yourself, what does this card mean for me? What is the significance that it has in my life? And as you work through that journey, as you do that divine work, you're going to awaken not only your self-esteem, but your soul's purpose. And of course, in working with any deck, regardless of the name of the major or even the minor arcanas, regardless of what they call the suits in the tarot, the real question is, how well does the deck work for you? Do the cards speak to you? Do they resonate with you? Are they giving you accurate answers? And so as I have worked with the Fairy Tarot, I have to say that This deck definitely resonates with me. I have gotten some amazing answers out of this deck, and I've also gotten some tremendous advice. It is a deck that I am already using with my clients, and we have all gotten great results out of it. So I am more than happy to endorse this deck and to let you know how much I enjoy it. I'm sure you're going to like it too. So if you have any questions or comments about this deck, please be sure to put them in the comment section down below. Also, if you have this deck and you'd like to tell us about your experiences with them, we'd love to hear from you. So again, remember to put all of that information in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.